Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
Beat me if you can! Come on!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from Within the Ropes and the Bullet Cast. It's BrianTronic. How's it going, man?
It's going great. Huey, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Happy Easter. Hope you had a good day today.
I did. You know, I almost forgot it was Easter because, you know, like my kids are big now and stuff. So like we don't really do much. And
yeah.
So, and then, you know, me and Cindy, my wife, we already talked about, you know, once the baby's born, it's like, all right, we're going to kickstart up, you know, Easter, it's time to do it again. And so we completely forgot.
Well, I was going to say, are you at the point now where it's like, okay, you know, you have two older boys, and so yeah, some of like the holidays that maybe you put a little bit more of an effort in for if it was for a younger child, yeah, like you just said, you're like we don't need to put as much time into it. But now that you have a baby on the way, are you like, oh man, we got to restart some of those, you know, traditions that you do with the holidays. So now you're like, oh man, I got to start doing that stuff again.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, so yeah, so Easter's one of them. So yeah, you're gonna start what I'm guessing what you do, like the baskets and stuff like that with goodies and toys, candy.
Usually I eat all the goodies.
Well, isn't that what his parents supposed to do, right? Just eat the candy, enjoy all that stuff.
Yes.
I'm sure, yeah, like most parents probably go to the store and like buy one for the kid, buy one for me. Like it was a Homer Simpson, buy one for you, two for me. Or then again, you just buy it and then you just take it out of their basket so they don't see it at all. So
exactly.
But yeah, we hope everyone is having a good Easter Sunday. We're recording on a Sunday, and this episode will be dedicated to the week that was in AEW. A lot happened this week. And sorry for the lack of episodes in the last couple of weeks of AEW talk, but been a lot going on, you know, you and I personally, work-wise, WrestleMania, still recovering from all that stuff, a lot going on, but I'm excited to get back into the swing of things on the regular basis. I want to get back into 2 episodes a week, one dedicated to AEW, one dedicated to WWE. So this one will be all AEW stuff, and man, a lot to talk about. I mean, there's 3 different shows this week. We had Dynamite, we had Rampage, and we had Battle of the Belts. And we'll go through just the highlights from all those shows. A lot to discuss about that and some of the news and just fallout from all this stuff. So a lot to get into. So, and something that I've been meaning to do. I got to remind people at the beginning of the episode, please remember to subscribe to In The Kliq, wherever you get your podcasts at. If you subscribe, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating, a comment, 5-star rating. If you watch us on YouTube or you want to subscribe to us on YouTube, that would mean a lot. Hit that like button, the thumbs up button, leave a comment. We love the interaction. I'm going to try to get in the habit of like start responding to a lot more of the comments on YouTube. I know specifically our Becky Lynch interview has got like the most views and the most comments, Rhea Ripley as well. So I'm going to try to start responding to a lot of those comments. So please subscribe to In The Kliq, wherever you get your podcast at, also on YouTube. If you want to email me in it anytime, you can do so inthekliq@gmail.com. Brian, for you specifically, even though you are part of the In The Kliq family, your podcast Within the Ropes, first week back this week, and you got 2 episodes out.
Yes.
So, yes, please remind everyone how they can follow you as well.
Yes, it feels good. It feels great. You guys can find me and follow me on all social media platforms at Within the Ropes. Like Huey said, I got 2 new episodes out, starting strong. Okay, I'm back, and it feels good. It was a little weird at first,
but it's like riding a bike, man. You just jump back on, you get going again.
Yeah,
but no, I'm sure it happens. We using it. It's a form of exercise. We got to use our brains. You got to kind of start using again our mouth and kind of get back into the groove of things of doing this. As far as talking and recording a podcast, it takes a lot of muscle memory to tap into again. So
yes,
I'm very happy for you. I was able to listen to most of your return episode with Philip from the Bullet Cast. Good stuff there. Highly recommend it. I love the format. It's you just kind of jumping from every major show and giving your major thoughts from each one. Awesome stuff. And dude, I need to pick your brain. I like how you have like a URL, the domain, just within the ropes. You click on it and it's like one-stop shopping for all of your podcasts, audio links and stuff. I got to do that for In The Kliq. I keep using the link tree. And it's great because like you click it and you get all the links there, but like I want something a little more cleaner. So
we got to make that happen.
Yeah, I'm talking business with you on the podcast. People are like, "What the hell, man? Come on, talk about the wrestling. Move along."
Right.
So yes, let's talk some AEW this week. Dynamite happened, and man, this was an action-packed episode. A lot of stuff happened, but unfortunately, this show ended, I guess, in an underwhelming, a sour note, left a bad taste in people's mouth. And unfortunately, it's a case of you can have an amazing show, every segment, nothing went to waste, great matches, just great wrestling. But then you end on a lackluster note, and that's what people remember for. Despite how great of a show you had, it's like one thing can like kind of just ruin it for everyone. We'll get into that right now, or get into that in a second here. So let's go ahead and just kind of go through some of the major highlights. We saw CM Punk versus Penta Oscuro. Great opening match. I love like seeing CM Punk in the opening match there, just kind of get the crowd going. And it was a great match with Penta. Penta put up a really good fight, but ultimately CM Punk picked up the victory. Made sense as the story here looks like CM Punk wants a world title shot very soon, and so it made sense to him pick up the victory. Penta tweeted out, say, "Hey, great match, but let's have a rematch in Mexico." So something to keep your eye out on. If that's something, if CM Punk will maybe go down to Mexico and have a match with Penta there.
Right.
But next up, it was the tag team title match. It was Jurassic Express defending against reDRagon. Man, this was such an awesome match here. A lot of action. I love Bobby Fish. I love Kyle O'Reilly. When I was watching this match, it just had like an NXT TakeOver vibe. Back when Undisputed Era was really starting out and really kind of getting their momentum going in NXT, and when they eventually won the NXT tag titles, I missed that era, no pun intended, of those guys. And so watching this match, it just had those same vibes to me. But yeah, what did you think of this tag team title match here?
I thought the match was good. Again, a little bittersweet. It's like, they're gone. They're really, they're not in NXT anymore. It was weird to see that they had only had I think 2 matches as a tag team.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
AEW, I think the record was like 2-0 or something like that. So that was interesting. I think Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus continue to put on great title defenses and continue to prove that, they're worthy of being tag team champions. They can hang with the best of them. And so that was one thing that stuck out to me is the continued excellent performance by Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I already know what reDRagon can do. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the finish, we saw Kyle O'Reilly and Luchasaurus trade strikes, and Jungle Boy DDT Kyle, then Luchasaurus cracked Bobby Fish with the tail whip, and after they did their finish, Jungle Boy pinned Bobby Fish, and big win for Jurassic Express, which I think a lot of people thought when they won the tag titles, there was going to be transitional champions, have a very short title reign, and the belts were going to go to someone else that a lot of people think deserved the titles. But I think this past week they got past like 100-day title reign, so over 3 months.
Yeah.
Congrats to them. That's awesome. And, you know, we saw reDRagon, you know, attack Jurassic Express with chairs after the match, and they're going up the ramp. And then we saw the ROH and AAA champions, FTR, come out, and, you know, they're confronting reDRagon. You got Jurassic Express in the ring. I'm kind of curious, where is this all leading to? Is reDRagon going to start a program with FTR, and it's going to be for one of those titles? And maybe that gets those two teams away from the title picture scene, and then someone else from the tag team division, AEW, can get an opportunity to be elevated and go after Jurassic Express. Do you have a personal feeling where you think this should go? Where would you like to see it go?
Well, see, so what it looked like was, you know, reDRagon was going to be probably getting into a program with FTR.
Okay.
But personally for me, and I've said this, I've been saying it a few times over the past week, that I just don't understand why reDRagon, who just lost AEW World Tag Team title opportunity, would be teasing going after, because I mean, immediately after the match they beat up Jurassic Express, and then FTR comes down, and then they're pointing at FTR's Ring of Honor tag team titles. And they're pushing each other and shoving each other. I mean, anyone who watched probably thinks the same thing. Like, okay, we're going to get reDRagon and FTR. But I don't think reDRagon deserve an opportunity at FTR, whether it's for the Ring of Honor tag titles or the AAA tag titles or anything. Mm-hmm. I think that we should give other tag teams an opportunity. Santana and Ortiz. I've been seeing a recent trend on Twitter. Whenever something bad happens in WWE, or someone's in a messed up situation, like Drew Gulak being an announcer on SmackDown, a lot of people were saying free Drew Gulak. Well, I say free Santana and Ortiz from this story with Jericho and Eddie Kingston. I know it, you know, it's got a lot of weight, and it's Chris Jericho, right? But Santana and Ortiz, it's a shame. It's a crime that they have not held the AEW World Tag Team titles by now.
I agree with you 100%. And I'm at the point now, if and when Santana and Ortiz win the tag team titles, will it be too late? Like, will we care? It'll be like,
all right,
yay, finally. Because I remember, was it 2019? They were the big free agent tag team leaving Impact. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is the hottest tag team. Where are they going to go? They're the hottest tag team that doesn't work for a major promotion. Where are they going to go next? And then with the AEW, you're like, oh my God, awesome. This is great. Makes more sense, because WWE at the time, people were critical of their tag team division, how they handled them. Yeah. AEW makes more sense. Young Bucks said from the beginning, the tag team division is going to be our number one priority, or we're going to make it the best tag team division out there in the world. And it's like, great, Santana Ortiz, that hopefully means they'll get elevated to the maybe champions very early on in the AEW's existence.
Right.
No, it hasn't happened. They still haven't won. I mean, the whole Inner Circle, and that's a whole longer conversation. It just, Inner Circle, did they exist much longer than they needed to be? Should Santana Ortiz break away from them a lot sooner? Should they have been champions? At least as part of the Inner Circle? It raises a lot of questions. And I'm at the point now where it's like, yeah, like I said, if and when they do win, are people even going to care? Are they going to be like, too little, too late? Like, they should have been champions like 2 years ago. So,
I'm not sure what their contract situation is, but they're coming up on that 3-year mark, if not already. I'm not too sure. I'm not good with numbers like that, but
yeah.
Who's to say that they even stay with the AEW after their contract is expired? And, you know, they go elsewhere, whether that be Impact or WWE. Who knows what kind of, you know, impact or effect Cody coming over and being exactly the same he was in AEW would make on a team like Santana and Ortiz, who would bring so much to WWE's tag team division.
Unless AEW does a thing where it's like, they are scrambling. Like, okay, we don't want to lose this tag team. Let's put the tag titles on them, and that will entice them to re-sign. Which WWE has done that tactic many times. Give someone a title reign or a big push as a reward for re-signing with the company. So that is something to see, play out with Santana and Ortiz and their status. And that's the thing, is like, I think a lot of these tag teams, or just a lot of the talent in general, they all sign like 3-year deals. And this is like, for a lot of them, year number 3. So Santana and Ortiz, remember, they appeared was it All Out, the first All Out, coming to Chris Jericho's aid in the locker room. Yeah. And so that was September 2019. So, hypothetically, I mean, you and I don't know the exact details, but, could that third year or the end of the third year could be this summer? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. But you bring up a very good point. Santana and Ortiz, the best that they've ever been as a team was the match with the best friends, like that street fight out in the parking lot. That was probably their best match outside maybe the Stadium Stampede with Inner Circle as a whole core, as a faction. But I'm with you. Like, I'm watching this. And the other thing too, I'm a little bummed seeing reDRagon lose, because I'm so used to seeing them being so successful in NXT specifically. Yeah. I'm like, man, them and Adam Cole have been losing. They've been losing these big title opportunities on paper compared to like NXT, where they won everything and I was so happy. But I get it. They can't win everything. And if anything, their credibility helps put over the other talent. So for Jurassic Express, that's a big win for them. They beat these former NXT tag team champions who are big and successful in other companies. So for people, even though the AEW hasn't been around that long, or they've been barely in AEW that long, people can connect the dots and be like, this is a successful tag team in other companies. Therefore, that's a big win for Jurassic Express. But I'm interested to see where they go with FTR. I'm sure that's going to be exciting, because it's like
very popular right now.
Yes, and it's a battle of former NXT tag teams. They never crossed paths in NXT, correct? FTR already moved up to Raw and SmackDown.
No, I think they had one match.
One match? Okay.
Yep.
I'll have to go back and watch that. But so, it should be exciting. Like, okay, it is kind of a dream match, as far as they don't have a lot of matches together, as you say, on a large stage. So that'll be exciting to watch. I'm looking forward to that. But it's kind of crazy too. There's a lot of gold there. You got the AEW tag titles, you got the ROH tag titles, you got the AAA tag titles. So it's like there's a lot of belts there. It's like AEW has all these belts from other promotions existing. I feel like there's almost too much like to filter through. It's almost like like, I don't know. We'll talk more ROH in a little bit, but it's like I wish ROH gets up and going soon, and that would kind of break off and kind of that way they don't dilute the AEW product with so much of their stuff going on.
Yeah, yep.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna have a lot to say once we get to that part later too.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, I'm still curious though, and Jurassic Express, like, I'm wondering who's gonna be their next opponent. Yeah. Because we got through Battle of the Belts, which we said in the podcast a few weeks ago. I think Battle of the Belts was going to be a major story beat for some of these champions and setting up stuff post Revolution. Like post Revolution is like, okay, the next set of storylines we see play out is going to lead to Battle of the Belts, more or less, or we saw even Rampage. Yeah. Now, I think starting this coming week, I think we're going to start seeing what the foundation being built for Double or Nothing. Yep. So I think that's the next step we're going to see. Here we are mid-April. Double or Nothing is end of May. So, we got 5 weeks of storytelling to start building up to that, which should be exciting.
One thing that I'd be interested to see is maybe Jurassic Express versus the Hardys. You got Jurassic Express who's got Christian by their side. Christian knows a lot about the Hardys. He's been in many wars with the Hardy Boys. So I think it would make sense to do something like that.
You just reminded me of something, and I'm glad you just did before we moved on topics. But let me ask you this. Jurassic Express, love them. I think kids love them. Big dinosaur, Tarzan-inspired character. I think a lot of people think, eventually they're going to break up. And I hate to be a Debbie Downer and think about breaking up at some point. But I think a lot of people assume Jungle Boy is going to be the breakout star. The first couple years of AEW's existence, they put a lot into him. He had the match with Moxley, right? Or was it Kenny Omega? He had some big wins, or even matches he lost, he still put up an amazing effort. So he won the crowd over as like this underdog. But now he's been kind of pushed to the side a little bit with all the big free agent signings. He's been getting some time to shine still with Jurassic Express. Yeah. But I still think they still view him as a pillar, maybe long-term, the face for the company. I saw something on Twitter, and I'm glad you reminded me. I was going to ask you. Some people think maybe Luchasaurus will be the breakout star out of the two, because I think some people think Jungle Boy, as great as he is in the ring, he does lack charisma. He does lack the mic skills. Mm-hmm. He is kind of plain when he's by himself talking to the camera. It's not really a lot of emotion there. It's kind of flat. A lot of people think Luchasaurus might be the breakout star. I don't know. What do you think about the two of them eventually having to part ways and, going down singles paths?
They remind me of X-Pac and Kane.
Okay,
They've got sort of that dynamic. I think that Luchasaurus has a future as a singles wrestler with the gimmick that he has. I mean, if Kane can have a gimmick and be successful, I think Luchasaurus can definitely do the same thing. And Jungle Boy, I mean, he does lack a bit of charisma, but I think it's fixable. I think Jungle Boy has the look. He's got the support. He puts on amazing matches in the ring. And one thing about Jungle Boy that I want to say too is that he's getting better, right? Like they're showcasing,
totally.
They're showcasing him great, even just as a single person within these tag team matches. So I think Jungle Boy, where he's at, definitely could be a single star, maybe even world champ one day. Luchasaurus, same thing. I think he could be someone, maybe lose the mask. I've seen something on Twitter too recently about, something, when do you think Luchasaurus is going to lose the mask? And I was like, oh, that'll be good.
Wow.
I don't know. Maybe he rips the mask off Kane style and turns on Jungle Boy.
He gets possessed.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Because don't they sell the mask to for kids and stuff like that?
I think so.
So, I mean, that might be like a hot commodity they want to lose out on. But I get what you're saying. From a story beat, that would be pretty interesting to see Luchasaurus, if he does go heel, turns on Jungle Boy and becomes like this badass monster. A part of the story beat is rips off his mask to kind of set himself up with a new gimmick.
Yep.
That would be interesting, but see what his regular face is. I mean, you can look it up if you Google it. I know he was a reality star.
Yeah.
He's done some stuff. Yeah, Big Brother. Yeah, so you can look up what he really looks like. But it'd be interesting to see if they follow that. But yeah, I'm curious what's the future hold for these two and how the company views both of them and how they want to use them moving forward. I know Jungle Boy, they probably want to invest a lot into them, but Luchasaurus does have that bigger look. But then again, AEW does value smaller guys or do a better job with them. So Jungle Boy, I think, probably will be more successful here than versus maybe a WWE or something. So I don't know, man. A lot to think about there. Man, this one match led to a much longer conversation than I anticipated. But it's all good. Next up, we saw the Jericho Appreciation Society, which this time was just Jericho, Garcia, and Jake Hager versus Eddie Kingston, Santana, Ortiz. I think this is the first of just more matches. I don't think this feud's far from over. The finish, we saw Kingston slap Garcia and follow up with an exploder suplex. Jericho hit Kingston in the back with his baseball bat, and the ref did not see that. And then Garcia pinned Eddie Kingston, and then Jericho Appreciation Society just outnumbered the three of them, beat the crap out of them. And this, of course, we saw the promo of them at the airport. Jericho's crew landed, and Eddie Kingston and them pull up and say, hey, we'll show up on you anytime, wherever you're at. We'll pull up on you and beat the crap out of you and confront you. So this match happened. I have a feeling this is far from over. I think this is going to lead to more matches. But I'm with you. I wish Santana Ortiz just move on and just get into the title picture scene.
Maybe we get a good old stadium stampede out of the JAS, and maybe we get a LAX type reunion.
Make it 5-on-5.
How many members? They're missing what? 2 members?
So Hernandez and
Homicide.
Yeah. For Double or Nothing, I could see it, but they got for the next 5 weeks, are they going to be able to tell that story without burning it out? That's my only concern. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll have faith in them. As we say with WWE, let's see how it plays out. Yeah. So I'll say it for here. Next up, a match that had a lot of people talking. It was a squash match, or intended to be a squash match, but it just so much happened in this match that a lot of people were talking. So we saw Marina Shafir, Mrs. Roderick Strong, make her Dynamite debut. We all know she got released from WWE, signed with AEW, was doing a lot of dark matches, or AEW dark matches in Elevation. But this is her Dynamite debut against Skye Blue. We know she's going to be her upcoming opponent, the 30th opponent for Jade Cargill for the TBS Championship. So this match was more or less, I think, to kind of like show the AEW audience who doesn't watch the YouTube shows, here's our next big star that we're investing in that we think will be a credible opponent for Jade Cargill. So she has this match with Skye Blue, and there was a lot going on here. Like I said, Marina Shafir is trying to, beat the crap out of Skye Blue, but also be intimidating and stare out in the crowd. There's the baddie section, which are Jade Cargill's fans. Jade Cargill's in the back with her lawyer, Mark Sterling. Mark Sterling, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. They're staring at the TV, and we see Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet in the baddie section, which I was kind of confused. Marina Shafir and Skye Blue, I really felt the match it felt sloppy, like they didn't have any chemistry, and there's so many places to start here. So, let's start with the actual match. Marina Shafir, Skye Blue. There's a lot of people breaking this match down on Twitter. I'm sure you saw it live on Wednesday night.
Yep.
A lot of people thought, it looked sloppy. They had no chemistry. They were just kind of rolling around, and their timing was off. But then there was other people saying, well, Marina Shafir does have the MMA background, and do you know what her specific MMA? Is it judo?
I think it might be. I'm not too sure.
I'm not too sure. Yeah, I hate to screw that up, and so technically the way she was rolling around and throwing people around, or Skye Blue in the ring, it's actually more accurate to that fighting style. So if anything, she was being much more accurate in the ring than just like a choreographed wrestling match. Yeah. I don't know. How do you think about that match and how it played out there?
So I'm a Marina Shafir fan. Mm-hmm. I love the Roderick Strong family, right? So that's one thing. I was disappointed she got let go from WWE, but I'm glad she's still pursuing wrestling. I'm glad she's in AEW. That's great. So I was excited to see this match. I didn't take it too serious. Like, it wasn't, it wasn't the best, but I don't think it was intended to be a great women's wrestling match. It was supposed to be, Marina Shafir, who is, basically a pro at her skill level and what she does. Skye Blue, who, really doesn't come from the same background in terms of mixed martial arts or, fighting like Marina Shafir does. So, what happened was pretty much what I expected. She got her in the triangle and made Skye Blue submit, and I thought everything was fine.
Yeah.
She's supposed to. The match was made to make Marina Shafir look strong and intimidating because she's going up against the TBS champion.
Yeah, and like during the match, she kept like staring at the baddie section. So I think a lot of people were like, "Why are you being so distracted? Focus on your opponent." But I think the point being, she's trying to like look like she's in full control of the match and like dominate against Skye Blue and be like, "Look, I'm beating the crap out of this girl. I'll beat the crap out of your favorite wrestler." And that's why she kept staring at the baddie section. Like, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of you all.
Well, and I think a lot of people everyone was focused on the baddie section during this match for sure.
Yeah.
But people weren't paying attention to the fact that the baddie section were actually out there, barking at Marina Shafir. Like they were talking trash. They were, screaming, yelling at her during the match. So it's not like they were just sitting there and Marina was just, staring them down. No, it takes two, right? Like, so she was in the match, having her match, and the baddie section was going off and she was looking unfazed. Obviously she was able to get the match, finish the match, so I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Well, I guess for me, the match initially when I was watching, I was like, what's going on here? It didn't feel like they were in sync with one each other. And some people are like, well, people complain when it's too choreographed or it, if it's spot after spot after spot, then it looks too planned out. It doesn't feel real. And then people were defending this is more accurate of like an actual fight. Like they're kind of more scrapping and like rolling over each other and throwing each other around. That feels more like an actual real life match. And I'm like, okay, but this is not like a back alley street fight where, we've seen people, out of a bar or something fight each other on the street and they're more just, falling over each other. This is pro wrestling. So I feel like maybe it should be more of like a compromise, like down the middle, like have like those judo throws, those MMA throws that Marina Shafir is known for and actually is legit trained in, but still have like the proper choreographed wrestling techniques that they all learn in wrestling school. So
I'm looking here and it looks like she, has a, mixed martial arts career, special submission specialist, so that type. So, I mean, I don't know. I think, I honestly think the way it was shot, it made people feel weird about how the match went also.
Yeah, because it wasn't like mostly like the big hard cam. Yeah. And I think a lot of people were kind of taken by that. It wasn't like more properly shot better. I think the camera kept panning to the baddie section at times. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It focused too much on the baddie section.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt like I was just staring at a crowd the majority of this match.
Right.
So with that being said, I think, I don't know, maybe, like I said, it's just Marina Shafir and Skye Blue don't have a lot of chemistry with each other. Skye Blue is still very young, and maybe they should have someone else instead of Skye Blue. I don't know, like it may be a better opponent. I'm not sure. It felt a tad sloppy. I think for the casual fan watching that, they're gonna be like, okay, this doesn't seem right. Like they're just kind of falling over each other. The timing's off. But then like the smarter fans, wrestling fans says, well, Marina Shafir, she's doing like more accurate takedowns from her MMA background. And so maybe the casual fan won't know that or recognize that. I understand that argument as well. But when you're a wrestling company and you're trying to get the widest audience you can get, maybe set your opponent, your matchup that kind of a style that kind of is more engaging for the casual fan, maybe, and doesn't turn people off so much. So that's how I kind of view it. So I hope with Marina Shafir, it's amazing though. She came from the NXT, the WWE Performance Center. So I would think any issues she would have in the ring, she shouldn't have because she spent so much time over there. So it's interesting that people are still thinking she kind of has her moments of struggle in the ring. It's like maybe that's why WWE let her go. I don't know. Like that's kind of what's fascinating to me.
Well, and I think another thing to look at too is that her time at the Performance Center, I think she was more so learning how to do wrestling the way that WWE wanted it to be done. and that might have been, a bit of a, I wouldn't say like a roadblock or hard for her to do, but obviously it took longer for her to get it down than others, right? I mean, she had a few matches in NXT that I had seen before, and, it looked worse than what I saw on Dynamite.
Okay.
So,
well,
yeah.
And she also had a baby, so she was a mom, so maybe her time to be at the Performance Center was limited because she was being a mom. So I respect that as well. So, but the baddie section, we see Red Velvet and Kiera Hogan there.
Yep.
Are they teaming with Jade Cargill now? Like, I was kind of confused about their whole presence there.
Yeah, a lot of people on social media were calling for the alliance or the group of Kiera Hogan, Jade Cargill, and Red Velvet. I think that would be nice. I think that'd be a nice little group.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Britt Baker; she had her little faction, 3-woman faction. So Jade Cargill can have a 3-woman faction. But it's just interesting because Red Velvet and Jade had that rivalry.
Yeah,
now they're buddies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of interesting to see. But yeah, maybe they can have like a faction name and like the baddie section. You can make merch and stuff. So like from a big picture, this could be something really fun for all of them to have. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Another match that a lot of people were talking was the tag match between Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland here. Dude, Bryan, this match was a lot of fun. It was, a lot of great spots. I mean, Swerve jumping off Keith Lee's chest to flip on the outside, take out Hobbs and Ricky Starks. How about you? What were kind of your takeaways from it?
I enjoyed the match once it started to pick up. At first, I felt like it started off a little slow.
Yeah.
The spot with the back flip off of Keith Lee's chest, I felt like they took maybe a little too long to set that up. Had the camera, been on the outside, I think we would have seen, Starks and Hobbs standing there, maybe a little longer than they should have. But yeah, I mean, once it started to speed up and everybody's getting action, everyone's getting their moves in. It was enjoyable. I really enjoyed it. One thing I want to point out is Ricky Starks. Like, he's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good. I really like Ricky Starks.
That's someone I unfortunately, with all these free agent signings over the last couple of years now, or definitely the last year, I think Ricky Starks has fallen more to the back because of all these free agent signs. I think if all these free agents weren't there, Ricky Starks would have been much elevated by now in a higher position on the card.
Well, then he got injured too.
And, yes, absolutely too. I mean, the injury did definitely set things back for him and his placement on the card and the roster. So I hope, he can start kind of maybe get some momentum going and over the next 6 months can move on up. I think he needs to drop that FTW title and go after the TNT title.
I agree.
Yeah. It's, but the finish, a lot of people were critical on as far as we saw Taz come out ringside, help his guys out, grabs Keith Lee's boot while the ref was distracted, and Hobbs hit Keith Lee with the spine buster, and then he pinned Keith Lee. So Team Taz picked up the victory here. A lot of people were upset to see Keith Lee get pinned here. I understand that. Like, he's a big free agent sign that they had. He should not be eating pins right now. I guess if the heels are supposed to win, you have Swerve Strickland take the pin then? But he's also a free agent sign.
He's also someone who just got signed and he's already lost a championship match at that.
Yep.
So I wouldn't want him to take the pin. I think it makes sense. Keith Lee getting, that was a thunderous spine buster, by the way.
And I was so happy for Powerhouse Hobbs. Like, how great was it for him to get that win for his team. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, Ricky Starks should have got it because he was at New Orleans, right? Mm-hmm. So he should have got the pin and the victory for his team in his hometown.
Yeah.
I get that, but for me, as a Hobbs fan, he's from the Bay Area. I was happy for him to get that big win, get that big pin over Keith Lee, who's a big star.
Right.
So, I guess for Keith Lee, like has he technically lost a singles match yet?
I don't think so.
Like his 2 losses have been in multi-man, like this tag match. He lost the ladder match at Revolution, or he didn't. He was one of the losers.
Right.
So I guess for me, that's the silver lining. He has yet to lose a singles match, so I think in this situation it's okay. You don't need to hit the panic button or anything like that. So that's I'm kind of feeling about this whole thing. So
yeah, definitely.
All right, so main event time for the Ring of Honor World Television title. It was the champ, Minoru Suzuki versus Samoa Joe. What a busy week for Minoru Suzuki. Yeah. AEW Dynamite Wednesday, West Coast Pro Wrestling here in the Bay Area on Friday night. Then last night in Chicago, he had a New Japan show.
Yep.
Dude, and then I was like, last weekend he was in San Francisco again for GCW. So the guy's been on a tear doing like this America USA tour he's doing right now. So do you know like what's going on? Is it because like is New Japan or is Japan having more restrictions, so everyone's coming over here right now to wrestle in the meantime?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe.
Because a lot of the New Japan guys are just coming over here and wrestling matches. So
and I feel like a lot of like there's been more shows, more New Japan America shows than anything.
Yeah.
I feel like so.
Well, things are opening back up here in America, and vaccines being distributed. So I guess I figure a little more safer here to do shows for right now. I'm not quite sure, but this match, I enjoyed the beginning. You got Suzuki, Samoa Joe, the bell rings, and they just start knife chopping the hell out of each other's chest, back and forth. That was cool, but then I felt like it never got into that second gear. It never like turned to this amazing wrestling match. It was just like who can slap the hardest.
Yeah.
And that was about it. And I'm like, that was cool for like the first couple minutes of this match. But after that, I'm like, all right, what else can you give me?
Yeah. Those slaps lasted for a good 2 to 3 minutes.
Which is cool, but it's like, I feel like that we see that more often. We got Gunther doing a lot of that. I mean, like, it's cool, but I felt like this match never took it to the next gear.
Right.
It was like, I know the both of them are not going to probably do like this big wrestling clinic or anything like that, but I don't know about you. I don't know how do you feel. Like, I just felt like it was kind of missing something in this match.
Yeah. I think I agree with you when you said that it just didn't kick into that next gear. I was expecting a lot of explosive action, especially from Joe. And we didn't get that in this match. And, maybe they want to save his, that style that he can bring for, other opponents and other matches. But I don't know. It was a decent match for TV. Yeah.
Well, then like after the knife chops, then they start doing like forearm shots. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, cool. All right, you guys are taking turns hitting each other, but like, what else can you give to me like in this match? Ultimately, we saw Suzuki hit a drop kick on Samoa Joe, and then Suzuki tried for the Gotch style pile driver, but Joe backed out of it. And then Joe used his size to push Suzuki back into the turnbuckle. And then Joe nailed Suzuki with the muscle buster and pinned him. Great win for Samoa Joe. He is now the new ROH TV champion. So it's cool. Samoa Joe in 2022 is a champion under the Ring of Honor umbrella. Like, that's a cool story beat. Yeah. And I think if they just went into the show right there, it would have been awesome. Great moment. Yep. Great moment for AEW. Great moment for Ring of Honor. But then kind of the dud happen after that. So the lights go out, and actually we see Sonjay. Am I saying it right? Sanjay Dutt, excuse me. Mm-hmm. Jay Lethal come out for a present for Joe. They lift up the present. It's the middle finger from Jay Lethal. The lights go out in the whole arena, and then the lights come back on, and we see Sanam. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Sanam Singh make his TV debut, and he just rammed into Joe, throws him into the steel steps. Actually, Joe just looked like he threw himself in the steel steps. It wasn't that really good of a throw. And then Samoa Joe got beaten down by all three of them. And then even Jay Lethal hit Joe with the lethal injection. So they stood tall, beating the crap out of Samoa Joe. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were complaining. Just felt it was a bad ending. People were like, who is this guy? We don't know who he is. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were upset because, like, if you do like the lights out, lights back on type of finish or segment, you want to reveal someone that's like a major name that people recognize, and it's like, oh my God, this person's here. Like what they did with Malachi Black last summer as a most recent example. So a lot of people were upset with this finish, and it was just like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
So I don't know. How do you feel about it?
So I said it sucked. I said on Twitter the same thing. I said that finish sucked. I think if they'd have just not done the lights thing, and he came out and, beat up Joe, and then they all triple teamed him, and then, stand tall at the end, I think that would have been fine. But I agree with you. It's when you turn the lights out, people in the arena watching at home are expecting to see something or someone they know.
Yeah.
And I think people were mostly let down because when you do something like that, everyone's expecting, there's so many names out there, so many, things and names that it could have been. And when it wasn't, it was just kind of like, oh, like what? Like for him, most people, don't know who he is and hadn't been, familiar with him and didn't really know about his signing and things like that. So, of course, you're going to get that reaction when no one really knows when you turn the lights out. But I think the decision to debut him there wasn't bad. Once I thought about it and watched it back, I was like, okay, well, he's a big dude. And
to give Tony Khan credit, he had his weekly interview on Busted Open Radio, and he admitted
he's a regular.
Yeah, I know his regular contributions.
Yeah.
But he did admit, quote, I could have done it better. It was one of those things I wish I had done it differently because the fans are always going to be right. So the fans don't like something. Sometimes there's something where you're trying to get heat. It was actually a long quote here. Don't need to read the whole thing. But yes, he more or less admitted it wasn't the right thing to do. And he only did it because he took the advice of someone in the back who has 30 years of experience in pro wrestling. So I kind of wonder, who could that be?
I don't know, man.
I know people are trying to guess, who's like an older veteran in the back locker room producer, what you want to call it. So
yeah,
I know names are being thrown out there, but nothing official. I give Tony credit. He didn't throw anyone specific under the bus, but the fact he did say 30 years,
yeah,
you could kind of maybe start narrowing it down a little bit.
It'll come out once the guy's contract is up.
So, but at least, hey, Tony Khan, to give him credit, he did admit that was a bad finish, and if he had to do it again, he would do it differently. So at least he admitted he screwed up, and so hey, give him credit for that. So, that was Dynamite. So Rampage this week was a live edition of Rampage, which, spoiler alert, normally Dynamite is live Wednesdays, and they film Rampage right after, and that's what airs 2 days later. So it's not usually live. It's always tape delay. But this was a live edition of Rampage because they did that because then they filmed Battle of the Belts afterwards, and then Battle of the Belts aired Saturday night. So I noticed a theme. Whenever they do a live show, they usually try to film something else afterwards for replay elsewhere. So, from a business standpoint, smart. You try to film everything in one setting and then just play it later. If you don't have the funds to do every show live, makes sense. Rampage, though, the big takeaway here was the main event. Hangman Adam Page defending the title, AEW title against Adam Cole. Mm-hmm. But before we got into that, Adam and Adam, the tale of two Adams.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the opening match. It was the Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, and new member, the ROH Pure Champion, Wheeler Yuta, versus the Gunn Club, which is Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, and their dad, Billy Gunn. I actually enjoyed this match.
Yeah.
For a couple reasons. One, the younger Guns, Billy Gunn's kids, they know their role. Mm-hmm. You know, they're viewed as the a-holes, the young, cocky kids. Yep. So they do a good job of doing that in the ring, just being cocky and, you know, being heelish in that sense. But this match really, I think, helps up Wheeler Yuta his place that he deserves to be in the Blackpool Combat Club, because we saw last week on Rampage, he had the match with Jon Moxley. He bled, and that's more or less how he earned his acceptance into the club. So, are you cool with Wheeler Yuta joining the group now?
I wasn't at first because I'm just not sold on Wheeler Yuta and his look. I know he's got great in-ring skills. I know that they have William Regal, so he doesn't have to be a plus talker or anything like that, but he just doesn't really. And I have to say this too. I know that he doesn't have to have size in order to be tough and things like that. I know that, but he just doesn't look threatening to me.
Okay, and I get that.
He sort of. I mean, he's just as threatening as someone like Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne is a dog, right? Like Pete Dunne, you know, aka Butch. You know, he's someone who can get in there and wrestle, you know, with the best of them, right? I would think someone who gives off a presence like that would be more fitting for the Blackpool Combat Club. But Wheeler Yuta, I don't know if this was planned or if this was just something random, because out of all the names that Danielson and Moxley, or Danielson specifically, mentioned in terms of putting people under their wing and, you know, creating this group, you know, Wheeler Yuta was one of them. But what about Lee Moriarty or Daniel Garcia? How do you let Daniel Garcia slip? I think they should be swapped. I think Wheeler Yuta should be in Jericho Appreciation Society, and Daniel Garcia should be a part of Blackpool Combat Club.
I agree with you. I'm so shocked that Daniel Garcia joined Jericho's team. Considering Garcia, he looks like a baby Bryan Danielson as far as his in-ring work and stuff like that. And Wheeler Yuta, I get it. He's a smaller guy, but people like his in-ring work. Yeah. He's a workhorse, so I guess it makes sense for that mentality for what the Blackpool Combat Club represents.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, Lee Moriarty, he's probably the best technician out of all three of those names. And a lot of people think Lee Moriarty is the next Bryan Danielson as far as from an in-ring standpoint. And yeah, like Bryan Danielson listed off all three of those names. So I thought they were going to try to recruit all three of them pretty quickly, back to back to back.
Me too.
But they're putting all their effort into Wheeler Yuta right now. Daniel Garcia already got snatched away, as you said, to Jericho's group.
Yeah.
And Lee Moriarty is just standing around, you know, making a run in for Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah. You know,
on Battle of the Belts.
And I feel like that's a missed opportunity on repackaging someone like Lee Moriarty. Not that he needs it. I know he's built such a great reputation being the way he is. And in this day and age in pro wrestling, a lot of the fan base, wrestling fans, want you to be wherever you show up. They want you to be you, how you are, how people are familiar with you, no matter where you are. Right. And so I get it. But I think from a, when you talk about Blackpool Combat Club, they could have slapped the hell out of Lee Moriarty to the point where he just goes through this drastic change. And it's just something that I would have loved to see. And it could still happen with Wheeler Yuta. It really could still happen. Like, I think Wheeler Yuta could use some tights, get rid of the, or the trunks. I'm sorry. Get rid of the tights change up the look just a little bit.
He still looks like too much of a member of Best Friends still.
Yeah.
Like, his ring gear does not scream like intimidation to me. I'm with you. He needs to kind of change up his look a little bit. Like, keep the beard, scruffy, fine. But the pants, like the weird line design and colors, it's like,
he looks like a creator wrestler.
yeah, like, a disco or
yes.
I was thinking of the guys from NXT UK, the throwback guys. Oh my god, the ones with the Who logo, the red circle. Oh my god, I'm blanking.
Man, I forgot.
You know what I'm talking about? NXT UK,
Yeah.
the 60s look. Oh my god, people are gonna kill me.
Subculture?
Yeah. So the one guy with the pants, he has the pants.
Flash Morgan Webster.
Yeah. So
And,
the other guy. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. It's like I see Wheeler Yuta and I'm like, okay, you're in the Blackpool Combat Club. Now really show it. Okay, the in-ring work. As far as I like this match, as far as towards the end, Billy Gunn and Wheeler Yuta are standing off, and Billy Gunn's dominating, and Wheeler Yuta is like this small guy staring up at this giant. And I like that visual right there.
Yeah.
And like Wheeler Yuta is the ultimate underdog trying to take out Billy Gunn, the guy we all know his accomplishments and stuff. Yep. So, he hit that crossbody on the Billy Gunn. And then, I like how Mox got the hot tag, was destroying everyone. And they Mox and Danielson took out Colton and Austin, who were trying to interfere. Wheeler Yuta and Billy Gunn, when they squared off, Billy slammed Yuta for a near fall, but then Billy tried for a knee strike, but Yuta dodged it and then used the O'Connor roll to pin Billy Gunn, which is a great move, and then ran out of the ring. So it's like, oh my God, Wheeler Yuta got the win for his team. So I think they're like, okay, you bled for us. You're part of the group now. You got a win for us. So it's really solidifying his spot in the group, which is great. But yes, I'm with you, though. At the same time, it's like, okay, this got to evolve a little bit more. I think so. So
they also ended the Gun Club's 24-0 undefeated streak.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's cool. I think I like Austin and Colton. Before we picked the name for my son who will be here in June, Colton was one of the names. I really like that name, Colton.
Nice.
But Austin and Colton look more like sports entertainers to me. They got it.
Hey, could they be on NXT 2.0 in the near future?
I don't know. They got it.
Hey, man, they got that DX bloodline.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I would love to see. They're the perfect two. Real quick sidebar. Remember when DX formed? And it formed in that one night, right? When X-Pac came, and then the New Age Outlaws at the end of the night came towards the end. That was the same night, right?
Well, when Shawn lost the title and went away with the back injury,
right?
And then Triple H cut that promo. It's like, hey, we need a new era or whatever of DX. Like, he wants to keep DX going, and he says, "You turn to your friends," and he got X-Pac to come out. Everyone knows, it's a member of the Kliq. Right. So, and then, I forgot how he recruited New Age Outlaws.
I think at the end, it was like they were in a tag team match or something. I don't know if it was I'm drawing a blank, but I think at the end of the show, they all ended up together.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're two guys who you can pretty much insert anywhere. Like, you don't even have to put them on 2.0. You can put them on the main roster. They can get heat. They can talk. Colton has a look. Austin's got the look. Their dad's Billy Gunn. Why not?
I wonder if they could do like a new DX, something like that in WWE.
Yeah, it'd be fun, man.
Man, are you ready?
Although, real quick, if they did go to WWE, they probably wouldn't be Austin and Colton because Vince doesn't want to use their real names or any names that they've used anywhere else anymore.
I want to talk about that, but okay, maybe tomorrow let's do our WWE talk.
Yep.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about Cody Rhodes. Remember, last week you said we want to have an in-depth talk about Cody.
Yes.
I want to talk about Cody because it was reported Cody's like viewed as the number 2 baby face on Raw after Bobby Lashley. I still want to talk about Cody's motivation, his storyline, all that stuff. Like, I want to have a big Cody talk. Let's do that tomorrow.
Okay.
We saw the Butcher destroy Barrett Brown. He needed one match just at least to kind of establish himself before he takes on Wardlow. That's fine by me. Dustin Rhodes challenging CM Punk. That's going to be curious to see how that plays out and how that might lead to what CM Punk's storyline is for the championship run. So we'll save that for later. We saw Ruby Soho take on Robin Renegade. Robin Renegade, the main story here, she tried to use some twin magic and have her twin sister come in. Her sister came in, attacked Ruby Soho, and then she rolled out of the ring, and then Robin came back into the ring and still lost. I mean, it's cool using twin magic. Shout out to like the Bella Twins and stuff when they did it. Yeah. I just felt like if you're going to use that type of strategy, it should be used to get a win. I felt they kind of wasted it for a loss.
Yeah. Shout out to Robin and Charlotte Renegade. That was fun. It was cool. Yeah. But I agree with you. An angle like that. Because when it happened, I instantly thought, I was like, well, she's about to get a huge victory.
Yeah, it's over Ruby Soho.
But it didn't happen. And it came with more offense immediately after the switch, right? Like usually, like when you make a switch like that, it's like the end of the match, and the match didn't last too long after it, but it was like
a quick roll up or something. Because technically the other twin that comes in is more fresh and can do like and just counter super quick on the opponent and get the victory real quick.
Yep.
So it was not played out properly as properly as we've seen in the past with other twins in the past. I was trying to remember other ones. It was like, oh my God, was it the Body Donnas in the 90s? Remember? With Sunny and obviously the Bella Twins and
I love the Body Donnas.
Remember? I was gonna say Chris Candino and the other guy, but they're old names. But so yeah, no, I'm with you. I was kind of like, like if you should have done that, save that for a victory. Don't waste it on a loss. Because now, if they do it again, you kind of like, okay, it's not going to be as meaningful if they lose or if they try to win again. I don't know. I just wasn't totally into that.
Well, yeah, if they use it again, it's just kind of like, I don't know.
I don't think he's going to win here. And then they do win. It's like, okay, finally it worked. So Ruby Soho wins. So, yeah, see how the Owen Hart Foundation tournament plays out. Main event time for the AEW World Title. Texas Death Match. Hangman Adam Page defending against Adam Cole, Bebe. And this was a situation where you had to win either by count out or submission, or like not answering the 10 bell count. I believe that's all right. Yeah, the only wins by knockout or submission. Excuse me. So, dude, one, I like the detail. Both of them wore like jeans. When you're in a street fight, you got to dress appropriately. You're not going to wear your trunks.
Yeah,
you're going to wear like more fighting clothes. But dude, this match was awesome. Like Hangman, Adam Cole, I think they got great chemistry together. Their timing, I really enjoyed this match. How about you?
It was good. I mentioned a few days ago on my podcast Within the Ropes that I hope that this is the last of the Texas Death Match for a while. The Texas Death Match, the lights out, because didn't we just see Hangman in a Texas Death Match with
Lance Archer
recently? So I felt like, I've already seen everything that Hangman can do in a Texas Death Match. So
I guess for me, my only thing is, I think I'm trying to interpret it why they did that.
Yeah,
is Hangman he's like facing an opponent and he's facing him in different stipulations that he might not be used to. So when he fights someone else in a similar stipulation, he has become more of an expert. Therefore, he has the advantage to win. So he went to war with Lance Archer, who was like the Texas Deathmatch king, or he's done that before with Moxley and stuff in New Japan. So that's out of Hangman's wheelhouse. But now they had the match with Lance Archer. He was able to. It was a great learning experience. So that's why when he challenged Adam Cole for a rematch, he says, "Let's do Texas Death Match." Because now that he's an expert after going to war with Lance Archer. So I guess that's the story beat they're trying to tell here.
I guess that makes sense when you put it that way.
But at the same time, it's like, save that for like maybe once a year. Don't do it too often. Because how many Texas Death Matches we've seen in AEW? I'm with you. It's a little too many.
Yeah. It's been so many. And it lets us know that they're in Texas way more than, than I would like them to be.
Come out to the West Coast, man. I'm tired of this. Give us a California death match or whatever. I don't know what a California death match is. Like, do you fight each other with avocados or something like that?
It'd have to be a West Coast, I don't know, street fight or something.
Maybe you should do that. Make a meme or something. Okay, we've seen Texas death matches in AEW. What would be a California death match? Like, what would you need?
Right.
Like, what would you need that's like symbolizes California?
Right.
I'm trying to like.
It's interesting.
Yeah, we'll think about that. We'll put it out there on social or something like that. But the match was great. I really enjoyed this match. Hangman faking out Adam Cole, who's going for a super kick, and he still flipped over from the turnbuckle, him with the chair. Adam Cole went flying into the chairs that were in the ring. Like, just the back and forth, a lot of fun. I love Adam Cole. I was really bummed to see him lose here, but I'm happy Hangman picked up another big victory over Adam Cole. The finish, which got a lot of people talking. Hangman wrapped barbed wire. Well, he had the chair with barbed wire, and he had Adam Cole with the belt tied up on the ropes, and he was going to hit him with the barbed wire chair, but then he stopped. I like that little story beat. As a baby face, he's like, you know what? I'm not going to go to that dark place to beat this guy. Yeah. So I was like, hey, he's a good guy. He's not going to use dirty tactics to win. But you got him out of the belt, and then Adam Cole still low blowed him. So I was like, okay, Adam Cole, it's a heel. Good. So the barbed wire is in the ring. He took it off, and he was hitting Adam Cole with the barbed wire on his arm. And then we see Hangman take the barbed wire, wrap it around Adam Cole's head like a crown. And then he followed up with the dead eye off the apron, crashing Adam Cole through the tables outside the ring. Hangman got back in the ring. Adam Cole wasn't able to answer the 10 count. Hangman wins. Great match here. I know the finish, a lot of people were discussing social media, on Twitter, their thoughts about it.
Yep.
Man, I know we're kind of running long right now, so I don't know if we have time to do a full-blown discussion. Maybe for next episode we can get to more longer. I know it's getting a little late for me, so
right.
Maybe we'll save that discussion. Let's see if there's more fallout from that finish throughout this week, and maybe we'll save that story beat or that discussion for another episode for the time being. So please, hey, if you're listening right now, please email us inthetliq@gmail.com. What'd you think about Hangman wrapping the barbed wire crown around Adam Cole's head on Good Friday? What are your thoughts about it? I would love to hear about that. So if we get some emails or maybe I'll put it on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. I'd love to get people's comments and thoughts on it. Maybe that can be like a fun, mailbag type discussion. So we'll save that for another episode. So I'm happy. Actually, I do want to ask you though, Hangman picks up a win, another big victory for Hangman. What are your thoughts on Hangman's title reign right now? Do you feel like he is the guy in AEW though?
Yeah, I like it now.
Okay.
I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. I think because a lot of people looked to him to be, I guess, a transitional champion at first. And I think maybe this is why we're seeing Adam Cole take so many losses, because a lot of people just assumed that Adam Cole was going to come. He was going to be champion. That was going to lay down the story and the foundation for Kenny Omega. And, everyone overlooked Hangman Adam Page in the beginning, mostly because they didn't think he was capable of, being a lengthy champion and be able to put on these great matches that he's put on. I mean, even with me saying I wish that, half of them weren't death matches or anything like that, I still think he's going out of his way to try and at least be like on the mic. He's picking up a mic, every time he comes out there and he's talking and he's selling it. He's really got that heart and passion, and he leaves it all out there in the ring. And one thing you mentioned, I didn't even think of him being the one to challenge Adam Cole to a Texas death match because he had already went through it. He knows what he's capable of.
Feels confident now.
He feels confident in it. Yeah. So that's actually a good, really, really good point. And knowing that makes me really like this reign that much better.
Let's see. So he won in November, Full Gear against Kenny Omega, and here we are in April. So coming up on December, January, February, March, April, 5-month title reign so far. So great run so far. So he's beat Kenny Omega, he beat Lance Archer, beat Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole. I mean, that's I'm like, those are the big names I can think of right off the top of my head. So he's been picking up some big wins now, and I know there's been question online, people debating, does he still feel like the it guy for the company? Is he still just a transitional champion? Does he feel special? I think this win does kind of help solidify his place in the main event scene. Like maybe 2 months ago, maybe not so much so, but now he's beat Adam Cole twice on on a pay-per-view and on a big episode of Rampage. I think Adam Cole's his place is definitely his value has risen even more so. That's something to really keep an eye out on. I think there's future discussions like Hangman Adam Page's title reign. Does this solidify him as like the guy for the company moving forward? Because I kind of always, I said like a while ago, I think I said to John LaRocca like a year ago, he could be like the Stone Cold for this company. And obviously there's a comparison with the beer drinking and stuff, which by the way, we haven't seen him do much beer drinking in the fan with the crowd, but he did do it this show. He drank some and he hit Adam Cole in the head with the beer bottle or aluminum bottle. Yeah. I wonder if they brought that out because they're setting up Easter eggs of him versus CM Punk. CM Punk's the straight edge. Hangman is the beer drinker, and we've seen CM Punk use the straight edge mentality against his opponents, like with Chris Jericho and stuff back in WWE. So that's something to keep your eye on. Will CM Punk use his straight edge values with the build up to Hangman, lead up and maybe Double or Nothing? And as I said, maybe this week we'll start seeing that start being built up for the next 5 weeks. So keep your eye on that. But yeah, that's another thing we can maybe discuss next episode is Hangman's title reign so far. Does it feel special? Has he solidified his place? I think so now with this victory. A couple months ago, not so much, but he's starting to get up there. We don't see him all the time. When he does show up, though, it's a big deal. So, they're doing the best what they can with this. So it's all good. All right. So Saturday night was Battle of the Belts. 3 matches. First match, we had Scorpio Sky defend the TNT Championship against Sammy Guevara. Okay match. It seemed okay. A couple little botches. Ultimately, Sammy Guevara picks up the victory. He's the new TNT champion, now 3-time champion. Your thoughts on that?
Well, he's a 3-time champion. And shout out to Phil because he mentioned it when I spoke about it on Twitter. Can't have Cody be the 3-time TNT champion anymore.
I mean, that's the thing. I was so bummed. Like Scorpio Sky, 5-week title reign.
Yeah,
it's like so Scorpio Sky should be pissed at Cody Rhodes because his title reign would have been longer. I'm just guessing. I'm kayfabe people. I'm just joking. But hypothetically, I wonder if Scorpio Sky would have had a longer title reign if Cody did not leave AEW. But the fact that he left, like, AEW's like, we cannot have our only 3-time TNT champion be in WWE now. We got to get someone else another WWE TNT title reign. Sammy Guevara, they put the belt back on him.
Right. Well, see, and I think I see a lot of chatter about Sammy Guevara defeating Scorpio. I was bummed. I was sad. I think Scorpio should have had a longer title reign. It seems like that TNT Championship's just getting like tossed around very quickly.
Hot potato, yeah.
Taking the meaning away from it. And for at least the direction that they were going in, making it one of the most meaningful championships. The fact that Sammy Guevara has been in so many TNT championship matches too. I mean, it says a lot. Give somebody else an opportunity. There's so many people on your roster that deserve an opportunity, at least at a title shot. But one thing I want to point out is the heel turn. A lot of people say that, the direction that this is going in for Sammy is that he's a heel with the, obviously with the low blow spot and how obnoxious him and Ty Conti are and things of that nature. But I feel like they could have turned Sammy heel, I guess, without taking the title off Scorpio. Maybe have Scorpio win and then Sammy be so frustrated and upset that you still give him the low blow. Get out of there, with Ty. I mean, I guess that would kind of turn American Top Team babyface,
right?
So to speak,
yeah,
too, and kind of don't want to do that. But then I feel like you gotta call it like it is. Everyone calls it, like it is with every other company, every other promoter, every other person in charge. You kind of booked yourself into a corner here because now you have to take the title off Scorpio too early, and you got Sammy now who, I mean, if you see more, I mean, if you feel like Sammy Guevara is more of a champion, someone who you want to push, not necessarily more valuable, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, because why not Scorpio, right? But I mean, hey, like I said, someone had to become the 3-time TNT champion.
Well, I think for Sammy Guevara here, I think he's better off as a heel, especially him and Tay Conti, and kind of like the negative backlash since they went public with their relationship. And,
yes,
we know Sammy Guevara proposed to his old ex-fiance last year on TV, and everyone's like, whoa, what happened with that relationship? And now you're with Tay Conti pretty quickly a few months later. So, I think just from a real life standpoint, a lot of fans were kind of turning on him and both of them based on that real life situation.
Yeah.
And that's playing over into their actual characters and gimmicks on TV. So I think I think Sammy's just better off as a heel. I think as a babyface, he's a little more flat. Sammy Guevara, and I mean this in a nice way, he has a punchable face as far as, he has that cocky look, and when he's in a heel, he sticks his tongue out, he chews his gum, he has that cocky swagger. He has a punchable face. I think he's better off as a heel.
Dare I say, this situation reminds me a lot of, what? I mean, it's a shame that Ty Conti didn't leave anyone for Sammy, because it reminds me a lot of Edge, Lita, Matt Hardy-ish. And I mean, Sammy Guevara could have find himself in some sort of a persona change, rated R superstar type thing going on right now, especially with Ty Conti. I mean, everyone knows how real that situation with Lita and Edge was. So, but I think that shot Edge right to the top. It made him change up the everything about him. And so I don't know. I feel like Sammy, maybe fix something about his face. I don't know, grow beard, change up the look. Him and Ty can just do their thing. It could be a good thing for him. So
I think so. I get what you're saying. Like, play a heel, but like be the ultra heel with the sexy girlfriend on your arm, and you like making out in front of everyone, and you like just deal with it. And like, no one's going to take this title off me. I'm so confident in myself. I got my girl. I'm on top of my world, or top of the mountain. No one can take this from me. But I think Sammy's better off. I think he was more interesting as a heel, especially with Inner Circle. And before that, the babyface has been okay, but I think heel is better off for them. And especially Tay Conti. She was kind of flat as a babyface as well. Not a lot going on. I think this might give her some more layers as a character. So I'm all for it. Scorpio Skye, though, Ethan Page and Paige Van Zandt, great promo video they did backstage.
I saw that.
They want revenge. Ethan Page got hit in the eye when Sammy flew off the ropes ringside. Got hit in the head. Got busted open. But he was the best part of that promo. I think Ethan Page should go after Sammy Guevara. Yeah. But if Sammy's the heel, is Ethan Page the babyface here? I mean, no offense to Scorpio Sky, but I want to see Ethan Page. I've been waiting for him to break out. Mm-hmm. He did such great work in Impact. Yep. I want to see. He's great on the mic. I want to see him get a turn to shine now, and I hope this is it. So. We'll see how that goes. We saw the ROH World Championship. Jonathan Gresham take on Dalton Castle. Love Dalton Castle's entrance. Had the boys return, dancing and stuff. The match itself was good. I hated the one spot where they were taking turns, swinging at each other and then ducking.
In the corner.
It was so ridiculous, so stupid. I'm sorry. Yeah. It went on too long. One guy throwing a punch, the other one ducking, the other one throws a punch and then ducking, alternating in the corner. It was so stupid. It took way too long. Maybe each of them do it once on each other and then move on. It took way too long. The match was good. Gresham submitted. Dalton Castle retains the title. But the big thing was after the match, though, we saw Jay Lethal, oh my God, I keep mispronouncing his name. Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh come out. The visual of Singh and Jonathan Gresham, the height difference, David versus Goliath, I love that. Oh yeah. But Singh here, I think it was a better. This was a better showing for him. How he took out the boys. Took out Dalton Castle, took out Jonathan Gresham, destroyed them all. He looked much better as a giant here, just coming down the aisle, down the ramp. Jay Lethal hit Gresham with the lethal injection. But then we saw Lee Moriarty run out there. He tried to, help out, but he got beat up. Seidel tried to hit Sandham in the back with his crutches. That didn't work. But sure enough, Samoa Joe comes out with a lead pipe and the bad guys scramble away. And it was cool visual. Samoa Joe and Gresham both holding up their respected ROH titles. That was very cool. Mm-hmm. Maybe Lee Moriarty getting involved here. Maybe this is the beginning of him maybe moving over to Ring of Honor. I hope this week on Dynamite, Tony Khan's supposed to have a major announcement. I hope, fingers crossed, is maybe details about ROH's future, maybe a streaming deal, all that stuff. I'm looking forward to that. We'll talk more about that. Hopefully get more info this week. And then in the main event, we saw Thunder Rosa defend the AEW Women's Championship against Nyla Rose. Great match here. Nyla Rose does her job well as a monster attacking the babyface. Thunder Rosa ultimately picked up the victory. When after Nyla Rose drove Thunder Rosa down the mat with the jackhammer, Nyla Rose attempted a diving senton, but Thunder Rosa moved. Thunder Rosa connected with the Hurricanrana and then rolled up Nyla Rose for the win. I thought Battle of the Belts here was much better than the first one a few months ago. How do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely better from an in-ring point. I'm just disappointed that they, again, there's no, AEW World Tag Titles. Yeah. I get it. You headline it with the AEW Women's World Championship, co-headlined by the Ring of Honor World Title. But even then, I feel like you're, taking away the shine. I get it. It's an AEW, but Ring of Honor World Championship, I feel like that's something that should and deserves to go on last also. Yeah,
I almost kind of wonder they could have flip-flopped maybe the women's title on Rampage and Hangman Adam Cole for the women, or excuse me, AEW men's World Championship on Battle of the Belts. Because it's Battle of the Belts. Get the World Championship on that show. We haven't yet.
Right, and I think if instead of doing two, I mean, I get it, you got to, instead of doing 1 hour of Rampage, make the Rampage the Battle of the Belts, and maybe do 2 hours instead of one, and just make that, because I feel like they had a chance. The first one was this one was better, but I still feel like it was a swing and miss from an interest standpoint.
I mean, it like I didn't watch it live. I watched it later, so it's still not like necessarily must see TV. Like I gotta tune in.
Mm-hmm.
I hope over time it builds up more interest. And I mean, I guess they lucked out because they have their ROH title under their umbrella, so they can throw that on there. Because remember the first one, it was the women's title and like the FTW title, and then the TNT like interim match because Cody couldn't make it that night. So that first Battle of the Belts was very lackluster. So this is, I think, better.
Well, and you gotta. I mean, if the Battle of the Belts, I'm assuming this is going to be their version of Clash of Champions.
Yeah,
you got to put on some good matches, good main events, and they. Like I said, this one was better, but I'd like to see the AEW World Championship defended on that. It just has to, in my opinion.
I'm with you. If this is going to be a quarter special, make it feel special. Have the men's championship up there. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're just trying to rotate. So maybe the next one could be the tag titles and the world title at some point. Yeah. So I get it. So we'll see how it goes.
If that happens, then that means they took your idea.
Yes, you heard it here first. All right, let's start wrapping things up. We had another action-packed episode here. Brian, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
Kliqsters, you guys can find me at BrianTronic. Follow my show that just returned this week at Within the Ropes on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. Like I said, top of the show, please help us out. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts at. If you subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, go ahead. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave a comment, a review there as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Watch the videos. Give us the thumbs up. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. If you want to email me, inthekliq@gmail.com. We, of course, appreciate all the love and support. So thank you in advance for all that. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.